Hello, and welcome to the Tristan channel. And a while ago, it was only a short one, but I did a react. Yeah, the trailer I acted to. But this is the latest trailer of Thor: Love and Thunder. And then, to be fair, my first initial reaction was like me. But no, the more I see it, the more So let's watch this one, and then I'll go over it and see, on the bits and bobs and see what go over it, if it makes sense. So let's check it out.
Kids, get your popcorn out. Let me tell you the story of the space Viking, Thor Odinson. He was no ordinary man. He was a god. After saving planet Earth for the 500th time, Thor set off on a new journey. Well, he got in shape. He went from dad bod to god bod. And after all that, he reclaimed his title as the one and only Thor. Oh, spoke too soon.
Jane? The old ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Brightness again.
What's it been, like 3, 4 years?
8 years, 7 months, and 6 days, give or take.
Am I, sensing feelings?
Well, you're right. The only ones who gods care about is themselves. So this is my vow. All gods will die. I just want to say that was very, very impressive what you did back there.
He's just my first bad guy.
You never forget your first. You are not like the other gods I've killed. Because I have something worth fighting for.
Let's see who you are. I take off your disguise. And flick.
Oh, you flicked too hard, damn it!
Should we help him?
And eventually, grape.
Yeah. Do what? The second, so I want to say this first because I'm sort of like it has a Thor Ragnarok feel to it. They're trying to that 80s sci-fi, like Battle Beyond the Stars feel, the classic 1980s sci-fi feel to it. And also, to be fair, I mean, I can understand why some people get frustrated because it's kind of like, he's on a journey to discover himself, but he's an adult. He's been around for thousands of years. Okay, I mean, you could have it where it's like, it's sort of arguably different in the sense of like, okay, before he used to go off an adventure and then come home, but now he's a free spirit, no rules. You know what I mean? He's like a nomad, like the old classic hero who he has no home. He just goes from place to place, saving people. You know what I mean? But it's the idea of go off to find myself. But it's like, how long has he been doing this? It's like, surely he found himself by now. It's like, because wasn't the whole point of Ragnarok, the end bit of Ragnarok, where he says, "Oh, I'm nothing without my hammer," and he goes, "No, the power's within you." So I thought it was that bit there where he found. Well, I thought the idea was he found himself in that moment where his father gives him that speech, where he realizes because it's like. Because technically, that's mind you. Funny thing is, that's the thing they forgot in Endgame. He doesn't need Stormbreaker because it's like even in the animated one and the comics, it's like apparently if he gets to Odin's age, like ancient Asgardian age, like Odin level, he is like because Thanos couldn't get the stones because of one of the reasons apparently why Thanos didn't get the stones earlier was because Odin was still alive and Odin maintained the balance. Because, like the dwarf said, and Odin that was dead. Well, he didn't know. No one told him. He was the last one to find out. He's like, I thought you were meant to protect us. And, you know what I mean? But he's supposed to be like God, epic God level when he reaches Odin's age. So it's kind of like he doesn't need a Stormbreaker. Technically, you know what I mean? He's supposed because he has that moment where he realizes he has that power within him. So it doesn't make sense that way. And so the whole idea, I mean, it shouldn't be a quest where he has to find himself. It should be a story about getting back his heroic flair, because he had that moment, didn't he, where he, at first he was like, I'm going to kick Thanos' ass, and then he did that, he went into that bad pressure state, and then he went back to, helping the Avengers fight Endgame. So surely this film should be about, he's going out to soil his oats again, to get his mojo back, you know what I mean? Rather than, I need to find my place in the universe. It's like, we've had how many thousands of years to do that? So, you know what I mean? I can understand that thing. So, yeah, let's have a look at this. Let's break it down. Is that like a Lion King reference? Come on. Sun, tree. Hey, Svenja!
Kids, get your popcorn out. Let me tell you the story of the...
I like him. Because, just a rock? Is it? And let's go here. Was it Paris Scissors?
Space Viking, Thor Odinson. He was no ordinary man. He was a god. After saving planet Earth for the 500th time, Thor set off on an...
There's something else that occurred to me. Now, again, it's that thing about... I know it sounds like I'm being picky, but I think what Marvel has to realise when going forward is, if you're incorporating mythology, him and Loki being around for ages, and it does seem a bit. I mean, it's been bodged anyway. People go about. I mean, we can't really gripe about it anyway, about him trying to find himself again, because they've bodged it to begin with. It's like, not being funny, he's been around with Loki for thousands of years, to the point where he was already a fully grown adult male in Norse mythology on Earth. Yeah? So he's had thousands of years to grow up and mature, and, you know what I mean? Okay, he could become arrogant and haha, but he didn't come across as arrogant. It came across as a bit of a sport brat. Haha, I had fun hitting with my hammer. And then he got his ass spanked, and then his hammer got thrown. He got banned from using his hammer for a bit. But, you know what I mean? So he's like, 500 times. It's like, well, according to Norse mythology, I mean, the fight with the ice giants, that happened in modern day during the Thor movie. Well, according to the Norse mythology, that happened thousands of years ago. So it's okay. Considering that, let's think of it outside the box. Okay, it's a multiverse on their Earth. Norse mythology might have happened differently. He might have fought the ice giants, but not the, it might have happened differently time frame wise. Okay, so I get that. But it's like, he's been around for thousands of years. He's a famous historical figure. A day in our calendar named after him. He's probably saved the Earth more times than that, to be fair. But then again, there's that huge space in it of gaps where he hasn't visited Earth, because obviously otherwise Norse mythology wouldn't have died out, if that makes sense. It would still be strong as Christianity.
Eugene. Well, he got in shape. He went from dad bod to god bod.
See, that bit makes sense. He's rehabilitating himself, saying, right, I've got that whole Thanos thing off my chest. Now I'm going to train and get back into shape,
And after all that, he reclaimed his...
It'll be interesting to see how that got connected together. But here's something. Here you go. Because people have been debating in groups, and it's quite sad. Because to be fair, it's not rocket science. I mean, straight off the back, you have Wakanda. And being that it's a magical hammer, it's like, would you really need to glue it together? The power in it can go boof. If someone's worthy enough, and they pick it up, and start poking the bits, as it were, like a magnet, it might go do do do. Who knows? But if you look at it, it's got a case, like a band-aid around it, a metal looks like it's been taken to a blacksmith. You know what I mean? It's got a, but then again, you got the but mind you got cracks in it. But I'm just thinking because if you notice, I'm saying if you look at the hammer, the sides of it, or is that? It could be the light refracting, but it just look a bit brown, like brass. You know what I mean?
As the one and only Thor. Oh, spook.
Yeah, no, it was the light. Sorry, yeah, because it's
Too soon.
Jane?
That helmet looks a bit weird. I watched Mr. H reviews do review this. It's like yeah, I do agree with the helmet looks a bit weird.
The old ex-girlfriend.
What's it been like? 3, 4 years?
8 years, 7 months and 6 days, give or take.
Am I, sensing feelings?
Burn. I mean, it's like, oh, because they were quite close. You know, it's kind of like, oh, what burn is that? Oh, how long was it? Is it 3 years? It's like, no, you had the blip, and the fact that he'd been counting it, he's always had feelings. He's well, it's like an end game when he was drunk. He's like, oh, Jane. You know what I mean? And I know there's a bit about he was kissing Valkyrie, but I think they're trying to get. Well, mind you, it's like Romance the Stone, isn't it? Film title. So it's going to be like, you know, him and Jane are going to get together, or you know.
Well, you're right. The only ones who gods care about.
Mind you, that's interesting, isn't it? I suppose if you like, because you got Odin and Frigga. It's like, is Jane going to be his Frigga? You know, he was hoping to stay with it, wasn't he? And we don't know why he split up, but yeah.
Is themselves. So this is my
So I'm not sure what to make of Christian Bale there. To be fair, I mean, to be fair, I haven't read the comics so much. And people, which is quite funny because this, I mean, it illustrates a level of thinking because it's kind of like people go, "Oh, don't get me wrong. Well, no, I've not. What I'm saying, I haven't read all the comics. Comics. I mean, there's thousands of comics. People, seriously, I don't have the time. Unfortunately, I don't have the pleasure of doing that. So, but I've got a gist of things from comics. So, I've got the graphic novels. I tend to go for graphic novels these days anyway because it's like you get omnibuses. You know, plus it's less of a. I mean, it's different these days. When I was a kid with comics, yeah, you had cliffhangers and stuff like that. But these days, it's kind of like, really, I don't live in the United States. We don't have many shops that are big comic shops. So, you know what I mean? There's so many factors in it, but it just makes it easier to get an omnibus, and plus it saves space as well in your house. You know, rather than have a big pile of comics like that, you have it it's all compressed into one book. But so they're like, oh, he hasn't got the tendrils, things like that, and people go, oh yeah, but you wouldn't get a top notch actor, blah blah, and get him covered up in prosthetics, whatever. Mr. H made a point about, well, the thing is, yeah, but it got Hulk. Mark Ruffalo essentially is mostly CGI, especially when he's Professor Hulk. Seriously, I wouldn't say he's nobody a nobody actor though. I mean, he has done films. I haven't seen him personally, but I know he's done quite a few films. He hasn't. It's just Marvel. He's not really been seen him. But people say, oh, you can't do that. So they wouldn't do that with Christian Bale. Christian Bale played Batman. He played most of his time covered up in the bat suit, for Christ's sake. So why can't you do the makeup? It's just nonsense. But then again, there's a supposed leaked photos of the proper image of Gaul the God Killer, whatever his name is. So maybe he vamps out as it was. You know what I mean? Like, this could be what he's like in public, but when he's like, you know what I mean? You know, hulks out, you know, because like the Lost Boys, if you look at the Lost Boys vampires, I mean, that's where Morbius and all the other vampires get their idea, that they can use that now. That was originally the Lost Boys concept, where it's like, they look like you and me, and then when they turn into vampires, their head changes. It's like, you know what I mean? You've seen it, you know what I mean? So, it could be that he just turns into this creature. You know what I mean?
So this is my vow.
See that
All
bit?
gods
See that bit of the creatures from the comics?
will die.
It'd also be interesting to see why. Because to be fair, Thanos, there was a bit of a tragedy thing involved, wasn't there? That's the irony as well. There are sick people in the world, but a lot of villains as well have a tragic story that turned them to the dark side, as it were. You know what I mean? Like Darth Vader, tragedy. When you lose control. Sorry. But you know what I mean? It's like Silver. Was it? Who was it? I'm trying to think who it was. I'm not sure it was DC or Marvel, but there's a character who something happened to his family or something like that, and he vowed to go around the universe destroying things. I can't remember what it might be. I'm not sure if it's DC or Marvel. I saw it somewhere. There's also one in Doctor Strange comics where it's somewhere in a multiverse. There's a place where science is forbidden. So they keep just like burning you at the stake if you're a scientist. So this child gets like put through a dimensional gateway by the parents, and then he vows to go through the multiverse. It basically goes through the multiverse and destroys all the different variants of the Source Supremes. Not all of them being Doctor Strange, interesting enough. Because some universes still got the Ancient One alive. There's another one that's a different guy. Because you know what I mean? It's not. They're not. That's the. I mean, I do love the multiverse madness. Don't go on, I love that. But the thing about that is, the comics follow the physics better, in a sense of you could have variants of yourself or variants of different characters, or there'd be different universes where events happen differently. So you would be, you would still have a Doctor Strange, but he won't be the Sorcerer Supreme. It might be some guy in England. Because events happen differently. Or in one universe, you'll have a Doctor Strange who doesn't look like Carl Steven. Because the parallel Earth thing doesn't work like that. But it's not a bigger problem. I love that. It still works. It's great. Don't go, I love multiverse. But yeah, in terms of realism. But anyway, so it'll be interesting to see what this figure is, because I got a feeling it's that figure where it's like, oh, they killed my family, gods are selfish, I'm going to make them pay, kind of thing. It's also kind of reminds you of Clash of the Titans idea. Do you remember that? I mean, it's not necessarily story accurate, but the film where Perseus goes, I hate both gods. The Australian sounding. I love those films, don't get me wrong, but it's just, I still think it's a little bit ironic. Australian accent Perseus. I'm going to kill Medusa. Yeah, but he was like revenge, wasn't it? So it'd be interesting to see what the tragedy is to spur him on to why he's going around killing the gods. Which would be interesting dynamic if done well. But like I said, so far it's got the same theme as Phil's Ragnarok, that sort of Flash Gordon 1980s kind of sci-fi feel.
I was going to say that was very, very impressive what you did back there.
Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, there's another point I was going to make. Sorry, yeah. To be fair, and I'm not disagreeing. And to be fair, you don't have to be. I mean, my only criticism, because Mr. H was saying about. Sorry, I'm quoting Mr. H because he's mainly one of my favourite channels that I go and look at these reviews. So go check them out. But now he was saying about the arms looking a bit odd. And he was saying, oh yeah, but yeah, you probably never lift. To be fair, you don't have to be a bodybuilding expert or have any experience in bodybuilding to judge someone's physique. I mean, there's some freak. For example, because I saw some really messed up not experiments, but they do think there's a certain breed of cows. I thought it was a fake photo, but it's not. Where it looks like Mr. Universe, but on 4 legs, and it's because they pump them full of hormones and steroids. But also, the fact that when you hear the life story of Arnold Schwarzenegger and the fact he did steroids, you could see telltale markers of, oh, that's steroids, or that's that. So you don't need to necessarily have experience in bodybuilding. It's like if you've heard one story or seen it, blah blah. You know what I mean? You'd have to, it's not a big a stretch. You'd have to, you know, I kind of find it a bit not below the belt, but you know what I mean? It's like, so you don't need it. Yeah, big deal. Bodybuilding. It's like, yeah, you'd have to be an expert in bodybuilding. I'm sorry, but you'd have to be a fitness guru or any experience of fitness to spot. You know, if something looks abnormal, there's a 100% chance, or if it looks a bit, hang on, that looks a bit swollen or a bit unnatural, it's either going to be steroids or they've been, you know what I mean? But anyway, but to be fair, there are bits where Jane Foster looks weird. However, to be fair, I tried to do a bit of fishing and did a Google image search, and you got one that she's got a coat, but it's got a mask on, like coat, you know, protection from COVID, and a sweat top, like a vest. And if you look at her everyday, normal everyday photos of the time, pardon me, she does look not like China, ninth wonder of the world from WWE. Sorry, the late China from WWE. She doesn't look that ripped, but she does look like beefy, like she's been working out for the film. Obviously, some bits could be CGI because there's magic involved, special effects involved. But all I'm going to say, what my main point is I'm a bit reserved on that one. I wouldn't say necessarily that they faked it on the computer. They might have done, who knows, or it could be because they CGI'd other stuff. It botched the arms. I don't know. But the point is, to give a little bit of credit, I think somewhere I'm sat on the fence of it. I do think, because from seeing the photos, these are not just behind the scene photos. These are actual photos of her everyday life, which is outside during the filming, but not doing filming, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like going to the shops or jogging. She has got into reasonable shape for it.
My first bad guy.
You never forget your first.
To be fair, because I've got very good eyes for these sort of things. Her arms don't look all that different from when she was sat down. You know, the different shots. There's one where her arms bent back, which, yeah, I agree, looks really weird. But I mean, here her arms look alright. I mean, to be fair, I'm not about. If you obviously have done bodybuilding stuff, obviously seeing muscular women is a natural sight. I don't know, because was it G.I. Jane when Demi Moore got quite not buff, but she got muscles? It's like it doesn't look that weird. I think it might be a contrast to the costumes. I don't know, because they are wearing bright colours. I don't know, but it's just. I think from the photos I've seen, I think she has done some work and exercise and stuff for the part.
You are not like the other gods of Kiln. You have something worth fighting for.
See, I think that's a spoiler of that clip, because Marvel will be doing a lot. Because I do agree with my mate Enzo. Is multiverse madness, because apart from the Defender Strange spoiler warning, sorry. Apart from when Defender Strange goes, sorry kid, and tries to take away powers, which kills Chavez, I pretty much worked out from the trailers, the clips in the trailers, how the film was going to start. Plus, they did sort of reveal the first fight scene and said, oh, it's just Shumagorath or an avatar of, and we're showing you the first 20 minutes. But that's not the case. Because, well, firstly, it doesn't take much, it's not rocket science, you know what I mean? Because when you think, well, hang on, that's the first 20 minutes. So when is that scene with Doctor Strange, Defender Strange and all that? And when you look at the other bits, the photos of him being injured and blah, blah, and, you know, all these bits, you think, so I reckon Defender Strange runs with America Chavez to the thing, tries to escape, blah, blah. Then we cuts to the wedding and then that fight that they revealed. Now, I was pretty much on the ball with that. So they got to try not to give away too much trailers, but I reckon that's that bit where he's like bleeding air. I reckon that's at the end of the fight where he's got his ass kicked by Thor and he's like, "Oh, not like other gods." I reckon that's my little 5% of that bit.
Let's see who you are. I take off your disguise and flick.
Oh, you flicked too hard, damn it!
And that's just so funny as well. I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to see, because it's quite funny. Because, to be fair, there's a slight comedic twist to Zeus, but I find it ironic because Russell Crowe's a serious actor in that. But what I'm getting at here, it's like Odin as a character. He has a sense of humour. He has a couple of his liners and stuff. But he's a serious character, you know what I mean? But he's like, oh, hello, darling. Woof. You know, a bit sort of thing, you know what I mean? It's like, so, I'm not sure. Is it just because they said, well, how did he... Is it because, you know, is it stereotyping, Greek stereotype? I don't know. But you know what I mean? It's like, are they trying to go for that sort of like, oh, they just took a barman from Greece and we'll put his behaviour on that. I don't know. You know what I mean, though? It's like... Or is it the up Pompeii sort of humour? Because like here you got all the concubines or the daughters of... Well, they could be like wives or daughters of Zeus. Look at the guy next to the harp. Oh, I know. I wonder which god that is, of Mount Olympus, but... Even he's like... Also, do you notice, right, he's got a tattoo of Loki on his back. He's withstood a lot of damage in that. I bet a lot of people thinking, I would like to know which sort of like, you know, he withstood the blast of the sun, all these different things. How the hell did he manage to get a tattoo or a needle to pierce his skin? Okay, there's a knife that, yeah, you know. Oh, sorry, I've just answered that question. A bit stupid, wasn't it? Because he was stabbed by a blade. Loki stabbed him, so he can be like injured. So. He just uses bloody... What's it in it, Tristan? Fucking idiot. See, I do have moments. Asgardian metal in it. You get to an Asgardian tattooist, wouldn't you? Moving on.
Should we help him? And eventually, grape.
A bit of a Star Wars moment sort of thing there. Ooh, land speeder. So yeah, it looks good. I mean, okay, I suppose it's like, I can understand the vibes. Like, if you look at...
Is themselves.
I can understand where they're coming from in a certain degree of thing. But then again, like I said, he could hulk out, you know what I mean? Like, and you see his form. But... Although it doesn't look like it, does it? Because that clip, but then again, sound bites. But then again, like I said, they give away too much bits. I can understand where some people are coming from, because it's like, well, that's them. They're being lazy, aren't they? And the funny thing is, this is quite funny. Again, also to shoot down some of the criticism, because oh yeah, but why couldn't they cover them up? Here's the irony: you don't need makeup or prosthetics anymore. Thanos. I mean, Josh Brolin could have easily got makeup up. He has got perfect. He's got a beautiful jawline. You know, he is quite a big guy. That's what she said. It would have took much. You know, it's like Tim Curry. Look at Tim Curry. He played the devil in Legend. It doesn't really take much to make someone look godlike with prosthetics and stuff. But then again, we've learned from these films is they've got the dots on. You can CGI make up them. They don't have to walk around in sweaty latex or acrylics. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be in a ball ache. If they go, oh, this is not working, they could just CGI it in. They did it for Thanos, they did it for Hulk. And they've got the money to do it, and they can do it. So I can understand a little bit of what they're going about, all that sort of thing. But again, also saying about Jane Foster's arms looking unnatural. His arms don't look right in this footage. So
Care
it could
about
film footage.
is themselves.
So this is my vow.
All gods will die.
He does look a bit like Quan Chi from Mortal Kombat. Eh? But yeah, I mean,
Well, he got in shape.
yeah, I wasn't making an issue of that thing earlier. It's just that's one of my little gripes about it. It's like It's that thing where people goes, "Oh, you've never had children, so you don't know what it's like," sort of thing. It's that same logic. It's like you don't have to do bodybuilding to look at someone's body and go, "That's natural, that's normal, that's fake, that's CGI'd." You know what I mean? It's like a 300 Spartans. I mean, there was CGI effect applied onto them because the whole colour filter was CGI. It was done in the same design as a graphic novel. But Gerald Butler was quite well toned in, and you know he is quite well toned. He was quite well toned for that film.
He went.
So you know what I mean. But yeah, like I said, myself, I just did a Google image search of Natalie Portman doing a daily thing, and yeah, during that time of the thing, she looked. A lot of sources have gone. No, she has actually she has kept fit for it. But then again, it depends. I do because some were saying about the arm looking weird when it bent back like that. But it depends because women. That's the other thing as well. Women are a lot more flexible than men in many respects. So it's not unusual. So it would look weird if a woman stretched her arm back like that, especially if she had muscles on it. So I don't know. I think to give her some credit, I think she has worked out. You know what I mean? And yeah, I haven't done. Well, I used to do weights. So I used to do weight training, and that, but it's laborious. But yeah, it just wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? And plus, I don't get my job does enough. You know, I've still got a little bit of a gut, but I've lost weight on my bum, which is probably a good thing. But you know what I mean? It's my job as work as do enough lifting and that. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of liking it a bit more now as I see it. Again, I do think it's a bit. I mean, they fudged it anyway because it's like, why does he need to discover? Yeah, technically speaking, from the first film, he should have been mature. You know what I mean? It should have been more. Really, he should have accepted who he was, but he should have been. It should have started off with him being more, "I'm God, I'm better than you" when it came to humans, and then have him be more humble to humans, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? To not underestimate them. You know, it's like, you know, have him arrogant, but not like a whiny brat. You know what I mean?
Get to popcorn now.
And he's
Let me tell you the story of the space Viking, Thor Odinson. He was no ordinary man. He was a god. After saving planet Earth for the 500th time, Thor set off on a new journey. Well, he got in shape. He went from dad bod to god bod.
God bod.
And after all that, he reclaimed his title as the one and only Thor. Oh, spoke too soon.
Jane?
Well, what about this sequence of clips is. Well, oh no, he must have. He must have suited up and thought, "Who's that?" And then she took the helmet off and goes, "Yeah, sorry."
The old ex-girlfriend.
What's it been like? 3, 4 years?
8 years, 7 months and 6 days, give or take.
Oh, he hasn't got over. You know, if you catalogued it, you know what I mean.
Am I sensing feelings?
Well, you're right. The only ones who got.
Even then, people said that Valkyrie and him will get together. I reckon it would be. I reckon he's still there with you know, or there's a little bit of a triangle going on. Who knows? And this sort of it looks a bit.
Care about is themselves.
No, hang on. Oh, hey up, folks. Hang on. I spotted something. Look at this.
Gods care about
Look at his face when it's in the dark.
is themselves.
In this shot here, look very carefully, right? Because there's a picture of him as an alien, a supposed leaked photo. Well, look at this photo, ladies and gentlemen. He has no nose, and his eyes look different. He looks like skeletal. And it's not until he comes out light. And that wasn't makeup, because his eyebrows are quite, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, like that. His brow was like that. I could be wrong, but you know what I mean? It's just odd that he looked different when he was in his hut and he came out to... Because he might... It's that thing in it where the villain, you know, some films are villain like Palpatine. He looked like a regal gentleman in public, but behind the scenes he was the Emperor. You know what I mean? So yeah.
This is my vow. All gods will die.
So does that mean Zeus is going to get killed as well?
I just want to say that was very, very impressive what you did back there.
And that's interesting, because it's like my friend Enzo pointed out, is that bolts coming from it, or, which would be epic and really cool, does the hammer break apart into bits and fly out like a shotgun and then come back in? That'd be epic, wouldn't it? It's like the hammer's still got some juice left and life into her, you know?
It's just my first bad guy.
You never forget your first. You are not like the other gods of Kiln. You have something worth fighting for.
That's him and Jane, or it could be him and Velcro, we don't know. Those fingers there. It's interesting again, black and white. I don't know why. It could be the environment or planet they're in, but yeah. But again, it has that, like Ragnarok, it has that 80s sci-fi lettering in it. I mean, that's like He-Man and the Master Universe. Incidentally, I did say in a Marvel group, because they posted a picture of him in his nude. But to be fair, Chris Hemsworth, mate, you have the right bod to play He-Man. Any of you film guys watching this, put it in there as a suggestion. If you ever do make a new He-Man movie, he has the bod for it. I reckon he'd make a good He-Man. And he doesn't have to train for it. He's just, you know, step from one Marvel place to the thing, you know.
Let's see who you are. I take off your disguise.
Take off your disguise. Funny.
And flick.
You see what I mean? He's like, hello, darling. Hey, you should look relaxed. You know, he has that sort of vibes. Whereas Odin's like, okay, behave yourself. Yeah, sort of seriousness to him. See on the back there, he's got Loki's horns.
Oh, you flicked too hard, damn it!
Should we help?
I just noticed the two guards are like, whoa, hey up. That's a Monty Python-esque feel there, isn't it?
I mean, eventually. Great.
Also, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for this, but as someone pointed out, it goes, yeah, do that the other way around. If you did that to a woman, they'd be like, oh my God. Yeah, it'd be like uproar. Oh. So it's quite funny. I mean, I'm not saying women don't get sexualised in films, but you know what I mean? To be fair, I mean, I know I'm probably getting a lot of flack for this, but to be fair, of all the films I've seen, everyone who's good looking, let's not beat around the bush. And you don't hear about them complaining about it, because women won't complain if they see, like, say, Chris Hemsworth naked. Come on. So it's like anyone. It's not women, or it's not a gender thing that's getting sexualized. To be fair, from what I've seen of films, anyone who's good looking, anyone who's handsome, or anyone not quite fit is sexualized. But that's going to happen. That's going to happen anyway. But it's interesting. Like I said, if you did that to a woman, there'd be uproar. It's funny that just the irony stands there. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. This is the irony. Right. So yeah, I'm actually liking this a bit more now. I actually am a bit looking because of it. The first trailer I was like, oh really? It didn't really get, you know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? I still like Multiverse Madness better though, and I think to be fair, people were disappointed that at first it might have been a multiversal thing where it's Jane Foster from another universe, but it clearly it isn't because of the how long has it been sort of time. So it's a shame they didn't do that twist or angle. But yeah, no, I think it looks looking good. not sure about Christian Bale character yet. Like I said, there's a moment in that thing where he doesn't look like as we saw him. In the darkness of his home, his hut, he looked a bit skeletal, like, so he could look like that alien that was in the leaked pictures they had. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. Are you looking forward to this film? Do you think that a lot of Jane Foster's been CGI'd, or she got a stunt double? I don't know. Like I said, I looked into different images of her daily life, as it were, collected by paparazzi during that time, and she does look a bit quite buff on the arms. I mean, come on, it's not like actress. I mean, Brie Larson's definitely lying. She has a stunt double, but then so does Chris Hemsworth. He has a stunt double. But look at things, actresses like Demi Moore, and she did G.I. Jane and various other things. I mean, when she did the what's that film where she's a stripper? She still had a G.I. Jane. I'm not sure if it came at the same time, but she still had some muscle there from that film. It must have been different time. I think it was, yeah, it must have been, because she still had the muscle from G.I. Jane she had. So, you know, she looked quite, she wasn't like oh, but she had muscle. So yeah, it's not far stretched. So yeah, and you get to be fair, Natalie Portman's a good actress as well. So, but then again, I suppose it also adds more to the critique. It's like, well, she gone and trained. Chris Hemsworth's gone and trained. You don't have to go and train Christian Bale. Stick some bloody language, prosthetics on. Be an alien. You know what I mean? It's like, and people go, oh, but he wouldn't, because it's like, he was Batman. He wore latex neoprene when he was Batman, for crying out loud. So he has done films where he's been covered up. So anyway, so let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you looking forward to this? What's your take on it? What's your thoughts on it? Especially Christian Bale's character, or whatever. So yeah, I'm getting to like it a bit more. And the thing is, I do hope that they don't give away too much about a Multiverse of Madness, because, like I said from the clips, you just work out stuff, if that makes sense. It didn't ruin it for me. I still love that film. So yeah, thanks. I hope you like my reaction and all that stuff. And like I said, let me know what you think in the comments below about the film. Are you looking forward to it, etc., etc., etc. If you like the video, hit like, and if you're new to the channel, if you can subscribe, purely because it would be nice to have you here. I would like to have you here, and the other subscribers that have already subscribed would love to have you here as well, because we love awesome people, and you're awesome. Especially if you sat through and listened to me waffle bollocks about a film. Come on, I don't say that. Come on, life's too short to be taken seriously, for God's sake. So anyway, it'd be great to have you here. Okay, and also hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on further updates. Also, I do because I don't just do reactions to trailers. I do reactions to paranormal videos, etc. And I also do informative videos on information like science, history, occult, all kinds of things. Because I like to mix it up, because it's a Tristan channel. It's like a TV channel, but on YouTube. You know what I mean? So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, folks. Bye bye.